You were never beaten into obedience. That's the myth you were taught to believe. What actually controls you is quieter. It doesn't bruise the skin. It settles deeper than fear. Shame doesn't announce itself as a weapon. It introduces itself as common sense, as manners, as maturity. And once it's inside you, force becomes unnecessary. Long before laws existed, long before prisons and police, humans learned something brutal about survival. Being expelled from the group was a death sentence. Food disappeared. Protection vanished. Your name stopped being spoken. So the brain adapted, not to pain, but to exposure. Fear teaches you to run. Violence teaches you to hide. But shame teaches you to disappear from yourself. Violence is inefficient. It requires effort, witnesses, consequences. It creates martyrs and rebels. Shame does the opposite. It turns the target into the enforcer. You correct your posture. You soften your voice. You abandon the thought before it fully forms. No one has to stop you. You stop yourself. Think of shame as a mirror that watches you back. Not a reflection of who you are, but of who you are not allowed to be. Every culture installs this mirror early, through jokes, through silence, through the raised eyebrow that says, enough. The child learns the script long before they understand the language. Shame works by creating a split. There is the version of you that acts, and the version of you that watches. The watcher is never satisfied. It remembers past humiliations. It predicts future rejection. It whispers before you speak, before you move, before you decide. This is why shame outperforms violence. Violence ends when the threat leaves the room. Shame stays. It moves in. It rearranges the furniture. Eventually, it sounds like your own voice. Look closely at how shame is triggered. Rarely through punishment, more often through implication. A laugh that comes half a second too late. A comment framed as concern. A comparison disguised as advice. Nothing explicit, nothing provable, nothing you can fight. Because fighting shame makes it worse. Defense looks like guilt. Explanation looks like weakness. Silence feels safer. Compliance feels intelligent. So you adapt. You shrink just enough to avoid attention. Over time, the behavior hardens into identity. I'm just not that kind of person. I don't like conflict. I prefer to stay private. These aren't preferences. They're scars you've learned to decorate. Here is the turning point most people avoid. No one is actively shaming you anymore. They trained you, and then they left. The authority is gone. The threat is gone. The audience is gone. But the watcher remains. You replay moments no one else remembers. You censor impulses no one would punish. You feel exposed even when alone. This is the efficiency of shame. It survives independence. You can change jobs, cities, relationships, but the internal audience follows. It keeps score. It never applauds. Shame doesn't just control behavior, it distorts perception. You overestimate how visible you are. You assume judgment before evidence. You interpret neutrality as rejection. The world feels hostile, not because it is, but because you're always on trial.